It's August 9th, 2020, and this is the Sunday Garden Tour. So these little purple cherry tomatoes, they are prone to cracking, just superficial cracking, but they also are starting to turn red. These are almost ripe, but they retain a lot of the purple and then stay red, which is kind of neat. I have a pretty much full-grown delicata squash here that I'll be picking the next day or so. A lot of my tomatillos are falling down and there's not much of a tomatillo in there, so I'm just letting them be. This is arugula that seeded itself. Remember when I had the big arugula go to seed and I saved the seed? Well, apparently some fell down and it started to produce, which is kind of neat. I also this week did a lot of planting. So I'm trying my hand to see if I can grow some peas, some fall peas, which they are sprouting very quickly somewhere over there as well. There may be too much shade here, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And I also planted another zucchini. It says 50 days to harvest, so we'll see. And I planted some kale that's coming up here. Quite a bit of kale throughout there. I planted some onions through there in that little channel. I planted some spinach that's starting to come up, some lettuces that are starting to come up, and some more peas. Oh, I see a little pea here. That's kind of neat. Some little peas here. So we'll see. They're a dwarf variety, so I assume they will grow faster. That's the hope. And this is, where was I? From the other angle I could see spinach, but I guess you can't from this angle. Oh well. My tomatoes are still doing quite well. I love these tomatoes. They might be my favorite this year. The Mikado tomatoes are so delicious and so big. I put up another set of tomato cages, one and then the other inverted and tied on top to go all the way up there, because I have some more beans. And I think I'm going to try to trellis them around and around and around till they go up, and we'll see if they produce anything for me. What I also did is I put some fertilizer, some mid-season fertilizer around my tomatoes and my peppers to give them another boost in terms of fruit production and size and stuff. So the newspaper here is down so it keeps the ground underneath it wet, because I'm growing carrots down there and I planted those. And the idea with the carrots is that they need more even moisture to germinate, so that's why I'm keeping them under there. I picked most of my peppers today and made hot pepper jelly. They're looking a little tired, so I need to water them tonight. And oof, my cucumber is pretty much dead in this area, but still doing okay here. I might get some cucumbers, we'll see. And the one down there died, so I guess I'm not gonna get a second round of cucumbers from that new plant. But I haven't shown you two things over here. One, this is a peppadew pepper plant. Look how fun these little bell-shaped peppers are. They're kind of cool. They turn red when they're done. I first was introduced to the peppadew pepper because it was on a Panera sandwich, believe it or not. So that's where it came from. And my ground cherries, they really are hugging the ground. Like, they're very low to the ground, but you just lift up the branches, and I picked these the other day, but the ground cherries fall down, and then you kind of pick them off the ground and eat them. So it's a little messy, but they're expanding quite a bit, even into the path a little bit, and I would expect them to do some self-seeding this year. So I also I snipped from the bottom the beans so that I could more easily identify which ones were the new beans versus which ones were the old, to pull out the old, but I haven't pulled the old stuff out yet. But my new beans are doing pretty well. They're looking pretty good. And then I have a bean tower right there next to the window, and that's looking pretty good too. It's not starting to produce, but it's close enough. And I've had to also top off some of my tomatoes. That's a 10-foot pole, probably 8 feet down to the ground from the top. so maybe a 9-foot tomato, and they're insane. Look at that tomato. They're just really crazy, and you hear all the locusts or something. It's very much summertime, summer heat, summer produce, but this is a definite repeat for next year, the Mikado tomato. So that's all she wrote.